G'day! Welcome to a John Marek video presentation.
Porco does the difficult and impossible at St Barts. The first aircraft that Porco will try is the Kodiak Quest. This is a short takeoff and landing aircraft well used in the area of St Barts and the tourist industry because it has the ability to land and take off on short trips. We should have absolutely no problem whatsoever getting off and coming back down in this aircraft. And we're back in the Kodiak Quest on our landing to St Barts. I am having some difficulty configuring the steering to my joystick at the moment, hence we are having some fun on landings. But as you can see, the Kodiak Quest has absolutely no problem landing on the strip of St Barts. Well, let's make life a little more interesting. Here we have a DC-9-35 in the livery of ANZA ANA, Australian National Airlines. No problem. Just took off at the end of the strip. Let's get our landing gear away and continue on our circuit for the approach. The bigger the aircraft, the more difficult the approach is at St Barts. You have to thread yourself between that little narrow gap of trees and hit the landing right at the end. As you can see, I'm still having a little problem with the joystick configuration. Reverse thrust is deployed, a touch late, but I think we can get away with that. To get out of the sand at the end of the strip, we'll just deploy reverse thrust, a little bit more, and there we are, back on the runway. No problemo. I see Porco has bought out his favourite, the 737-800. You may have seen this aircraft a few times if you have been watching the Porco series. I think we'll deploy full flaps for this takeoff. And then we'll stand on the brakes while we spool up to about 95%. Release brakes, and we're on our way. We're starting to get a bit wide. I would think in the next couple of aircraft we might take a few palm trees with us. Late V1, rotate. Oh, a good 6 feet underneath us before the water. Not a problem. I think landing this wee beastie might be a bit more difficult. One has to be careful on the approach. These trees seem to be in the way. Whoop, over the top of those trees. Drop, res, flare, down on the deck, deploy, rear thrust, hard on the brakes, and I think we'll stop about 50 or 60 meters before the end. Well, that wasn't too difficult. We'll upscale to something a little bit bigger. Now, I don't want you writing to me and saying, Porco, you took out some palm trees. Because this is all done as fun and to show you that you too can have a bit of fun at small airstrips in big aircraft. This is getting a touch difficult. And just to show you how difficult it is, at the end I have included some bloopers. Not all these landings happened like this straight away. It took a few times, I might tell you. And I don't fly these aircraft all the time, as I'm quite sure is apparent to you all. What are you doing, Porco? You'll never get Black Beauty, the Concorde, off here. One never knows. You might notice some extra framing. I apologize for my lack of editing skills, but I'm still an amateur and learning as I go along. Well, the Concorde got off there all right. Let's see if we can bring her back down. The astute among you will notice that I'm landing the Concorde from the other end of the airstrip. This has to be done because you cannot see over the nose on a downward-looking airstrip. It is not as easy as it looks. You have to drop down over that hill and get down to the strip. And to prove to you how hard this is, I have included at the very end some bloopers for your entertainment and enjoyment. Firstly, the Kodiak Quest. And this is what happens in the DC-9 when you are late deploying the thrusters. Perhaps the most difficult aircraft to land at St Barts was this one. You have to find the gap between the top and the trees at the top of the airstrip. That alone is quite difficult. If you don't, you wipe out half the trees. You have to come in from above and drop down. On this occasion, we took out half the palm trees and buildings on the left-hand side of the airstrip, went across, took out the caravan park for good measure, and then contributed to the economy with a new dive brake. What can I say? Initially, I did my approaches in the Concorde from the high end, but I could not see over the nose well enough for the last portion of landing and kept getting too far over to one side and into the trees. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our last blooper and shows you what happens when you are concentrating so hard on making a good landing. Appreciate you sharing your time with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers!